I blame myself for what happened. The coroner says it wasn't my fault. The police said if it hadn't been that night, it would have been another night and I wouldn't have been able to stop it. But they only died because he wanted to punish me. I'm angry, I'm broken. It is just torture. I don't want anybody to have to live the way I do. I don't live, I exist.
So let's...
Just give me a minute.
At first glance, an ordinary family house, but what happened here last night destroyed lives.
I will not speak his name. To call him by his name is to give him a presence. And he doesn't deserve a presence in this world.
There is a palpable sense of shock in this quiet residential street.
I'm not going to call him a man because he wasn't a man. He was just pure evil.
After the Sykes had divorced, Father Darren became vengeful.
No one could have anticipated what followed.
I despise him for what he's done. Everybody eventually started to see who he was, but it was too late by then. This photograph here was taken on our wedding day, and he got quite emotional and started crying, saying he was so happy and that he would love me forever. At that moment, we were happy. And then from that moment, things started to change. And I just feel sad for the younger me in this photograph. Little did I know what was to come. What started out as a fairy tale wedding turned into a nightmare. And thinking about it now, I feel slightly sick because he turned into a monster. How he turned from a prince to a monster in such a short time was scary. I first met Darren on the 19th of October in 1996 at a store opening. We both worked for the same company. He was a salesman. My first impressions of him was that he was arrogant and very self-confident. He was asking me out and it was like, not really interested, don't really want to meet you again, thanks but no thanks type of thing. And then the red rose came the next day and it said, please go out with me. The next day another red rose came and he sent a red rose for 3 weeks. I thought, wow, he must be really, really, really keen to send a rose for 3 weeks. And people were saying, oh, my boyfriend doesn't do that. I wish my boyfriend did that. And everybody was saying at the time, wow, he must really love you. Everybody thought he was a good guy. And I said I would go out with him.
Hi, Darren.
The way he hooked me in was with the attention. Darren bombarded me with love and tokens of gestures of affection. Every other week he'd send a bouquet of flowers. He was sending all these extravagant gifts. That's a warning sign. Now, with domestic abuse training, they now term it as love bombing. This is the first sign of their obsession. Makes you feel a little bit more special than normal. And that's a dangerous feeling to have because it blinds you to everything else that's around you. It's like a spider that's weaving this web and then all of a sudden you're caught and you get snarled up in this web. That's the best way to describe it. He wanted control of everything. He would look at my emails. He would start going through my phone. I came home from work and there was a letter on the side and it had been opened.
Did you read my mail?
And I said, that's actually addressed to me. And he said, well, there's no secrets between us.
What's the problem? You trying to hide something from me?
I think he snooped because he wanted to own every aspect of my life. Nothing was just mine. And it got to a point where you feel like your every move is being monitored. I'd turn up at work and half an hour later, the phone would ring
This is Claire.
and it would be him on the phone, just checking that you're okay.
Oh, that's sweet.
Then an hour later, the phone would ring again and it would be him saying something like, oh, I just want to hear your voice. Oh, I just want to tell you that I love you.
I actually need to get back to work, so I'll talk to you tonight.
And by the end, I was having 40 phone calls a day. What comes across as very caring and very loving at the start starts to become very oppressive, very intimidating. And you feel like not one single moment of the day is yours because you're just being tracked all day long. I realised that spying on me was getting out of control. When I found out that he was talking to my colleagues behind my back, I felt like I was being spied on. Like my whole life was being monitored. I wanted him to realise that his behaviour wasn't normal.
But he didn't see anything wrong with what he was doing.
It seemed like wherever I was, he was there. If I had a day off and I was meeting somebody for a coffee, he'd turn up. I was going out with the girls and I got ready to go and he said, oh, where are you going? So I told him where we were going. We went to the pub, we got the wine, we were talking, and he just turned up and sat down.
Hello, ladies.
And like all my friends were kind of looking and it was like, this is a girls' night. You're a guy. What are you doing?
Darren, what are you doing here?
He'd sit there as if nothing was wrong.
Just missed you is all.
At first, my friends thought he must really love you. But then after he turned up at a girls' night, they started to view things differently. My friends withdrew and felt like they couldn't talk about what they wanted to talk about that night. They just stopped inviting me along, stopped including me in things.
No one wants another drink.
And looking back, that's another warning sign that they're starting to isolate you from your friends. This is how it starts, and you don't even realise that the abuse has started.
I'm sorry. I didn't think he would just show up.
It doesn't take much to start feeling those old feelings again. It doesn't take much for me to feel useless and worthless. Abuse doesn't stay with the abuser. It stays with the abused. You carry those feelings with you always. New Year's Eve was when things really changed between us. That was the first time that I saw what he was capable of. We were going out for a meal with my mum and dad, and then an argument started.
Why are you wearing that?
And these insults are being hurled at you, very personal insults. I had just about had enough. And I just flipped and I said, I'm leaving. I've had enough.
You know what? I'm going by myself.
So he went and locked the door so that I couldn't leave the house. And that then made me realise I was trapped. I knew when he locked me in that it wasn't going to end well.
You're not going anywhere.
It was like a red mist would come over his face and there was a twist to it that looked evil. to see that was scary. It's almost like he had a split personality. And he punched me on my arm here, and there was a big bruise. I was angry that he'd hurt me and shocked as well. By this time, I was thinking, right, I'd just rather cancel tonight.
You know what? Let's just forget the whole thing.
But he said, no, you want to go out with your parents, so we're going out.
Now go upstairs and get changed.
So we went out that night, and my dad immediately picked up on the bruise, but I said I'd walked into the banister of the stairs, and that was the first time that I'd not been honest with my dad. I wish now that I'd told him the truth, but you cover up for people and you cover up for your own humiliation. He started being really pushy, wanting it all the time. And it was like another thing that was on overdrive. Every night, he'd be wanting relations, and it's like, you don't want to have relations with somebody when they've made you feel like a piece of dirt, or when they've hurt you.
What are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing?
No, Darren.
It's invading your body, and you should be allowed to say no. But he didn't understand the word no.
I said no.
I would say no, and he'd carry on anyway. And there were many, many times he would force himself. You just feel used and dirty, and there's nothing worse or nothing more lonely. I used to lay there and then go in the shower, scrubbing myself in the shower because I don't feel clean. That feeling never goes away. You begin to feel like just an object. Looking back, it's another sign that things weren't right. Despite everything going wrong in the marriage, I didn't leave because the year that I probably would have left, I accidentally got pregnant with Jack. Perhaps Jack coming along would change him as a person, because people change when you have children. But it only made his behaviour worse rather than better. There was a day, and Jack was just 4 months old. Darren wanted some new furniture.
Oi, have a look at this.
And this had been going on for a long time, picking this furniture. All the decor was picked by him. They'd argued and argued and argued, and he was still saying he wanted the furniture that he wanted. So I just says, whatever.
Do what you want, I don't care.
He just lost his temper, and just like a child, picked up the heavy wooden chair, and he just threw it across the room at me, and it hit me on my ankle.
Are you serious?
He was infuriated that I wasn't giving him the response that he wanted. Now, Jack was on the floor, and it could have hit Jack. And it was a flashpoint for me, and I gave him an ultimatum and said, if you don't learn to control your temper, then I'm leaving and I'm taking Jack with me. I just walked out and went for a walk and walked and walked and walked. But I took Jack with me because I didn't trust him with Jack. And when I came back, he said, don't take Jack away from me again.
You will never take my son away from me. Do you understand?
And that was the first warning sign that he saw the children as a possession, and that he thought he was entitled to the children more than me. And the next day, flowers would arrive. The worse the arguments got, the more the flowers arrived. I hate flowers now. If somebody gives me some flowers, I don't associate them with nice things. I just see it as somebody who can't say sorry. He went on the anger management course, worked for a while, and then just slipped back into his old ways. Leopards don't change their spots. In March 2002, Jack was born, and 3 years later, Paul was born. And there they were, two perfectly beautiful children, most precious thing in the world. But when the children was young, as a father, he wasn't involved. As a family, we didn't really have happy family moments. When you look at that photograph, he's smiling in that photograph as if he's the proudest father on earth. But that happy look on his face didn't last. Evil lurked within and raised its head more and more. It was him that was the monster that couldn't be stopped and would never change. I think as a man and as a father, he was jealous of their talent and he was turning his spite and anger onto them. This was my 40th birthday. And there's Jack with his trumpet playing happy birthday to me. You can see in his eyes there that he's watching his dad. You can see the wary look on his face. And there's fear in those eyes. And that's because one day he wanted to do his practice, but his dad didn't want to hear him play his beautiful music. He wanted a television programme on, so he just took it out on Jack. His dad, out of spite, knocked his trumpet and made him cut his lip. And he ended up with blood running down his chin. This is Paul. That smile there, you can just see him lit up from the inside out. This was where he came alive. He just loved to run. In running, he was free. In running, he expressed himself. But one day, I was cooking tea, and then all of a sudden there was this hullabaloo, and Paul was crying, and he came into me, and he'd got red marks on his legs, and he says, "Dad's hurt me, Dad's hurt me." Darren had been twisting Paul's legs. He was supposedly play fighting.
We were just wrestling, having a little fun.
And because he was a runner, his father targeted his legs, because if he twisted his legs and hurt his legs, he wouldn't be able to run.
You could have really hurt him.
So it was his way of spoiling Paul's passion. He was jealous of his own child. In the end, I said that he needed to back off from Paul and he needed to give him some space and he needed to stop bullying him. And he said, "I'm not a bully."
He needs to toughen up.
I felt like I couldn't even leave him with them on my days off because I didn't trust him. And what does that say about him as a father when I feel like I can't trust him to look after the children? Jack and Paul didn't trust their dad. They'd been hurt by him. They were on eggshells with him. If we were sat on a big sofa, I'd be sat on one side and the boys would be crushed in with me as far in as they could. And they get the comments, oh, you don't want to sit next to me then? Well, why would you want to sit next to somebody who twists your legs? Or why would you want to sit next to somebody that makes your lip bleed? You wouldn't, would you?
What? I'm not good enough for you? Is that it?
They didn't want to be with him. It was me that had the bond with them. And he resented that bond because whenever they needed anything, it was me that they came to and not him. I don't want that photograph near me. That was the boys having an ice cream. As you can see on that picture, Paul's looking away. He didn't want to sit next to his dad. There's a space between them. And you can tell that he's on edge. Jack's tolerating him, but if you look at his body language, he's closing off from his dad. He's certainly not snuggling in and doesn't look happy to be sat there.
That photograph just makes me feel ill and angry.
One evening, I was sat on the sofa and watching the news, and on the news came this report that a father in Wales had killed his children and then hung himself. And I was absolutely heartbroken for that mum.
That's horrible. That poor mother.
And I said, how could he have taken those children's lives? How can anybody do that?
Can you imagine?
And Darren's answer was, well, I understand why he did it. Because fathers aren't treated the same way as mothers. And I just went cold because the tone of voice, he completely believed what he was saying.
That is a horrible thing to say.
It's true.
And I said, how can you say that? And he said, well, they're not. He understood exactly why that father took his children's lives away. And I was appalled. Nobody's got the right to take a child's life away. I found it incredible that he could even contemplate that, let alone understand why he'd done it. That was another warning sign for me. It was almost like a premonition. I knew inside that the children would not be safe with him. The boys were asking to leave. I didn't have the money to leave, and I knew that if I left, he would have access to the children, and if I wasn't there, who was going to keep them safe? I had a responsibility to keep them safe. Final straw for me came in 2014. The abuse was extending to the boys, and I realised that I had to leave. One evening, Jack and I were upstairs, and their father was up there, and he was getting on at him for doing his homework.
Enough fooling about. You've got a report to finish.
Jack came out with a flippant remark, and the next thing I knew was his father lunging towards him with his fist. The force of the impact spun me around and I fell down the stairs. And I realised that I could no longer stay. I knew I had to get out pretty quick because he could have locked the doors, he could have done anything. I just quickly scooped them up and said, go to the car, go to the car. And they just ran to the car and I just said, that's it. That's it. It was just survival mode. I saw this as an escape. That's when the real abuse started. His behaviour went out of control. He stalked me. He sent text messages to my family, abusive messages, which was absolutely horrible. The day that my divorce came through, I was taking the boys out for a meal, basically to lift the mood a little bit. And then, as I walked out of the restaurant and got in the car, the tyre on the driver's side was down. And when I looked at it, there was a big slash in the tyre. And I just went cold because I knew who'd done that. And I went back into the restaurant and said, "Have you got any CCTV footage?" And they went, "No, we don't have cameras." So I didn't bother to report it to the police because I had no evidence. And it would have been a she said, he said situation which could have made things worse. So I let it go. But I knew that we were in danger. Obviously, I believed that contact was not in the boys' best interest, and I had to go to court to ensure that the boys were kept safe. I was sat in the waiting area, being intimidated by him. He was glaring at me across the room, and he was verbally shouting.
Are you happy now? I bet you think you've won.
He was saying that I was manipulative, I was a bitch. I should tell the boys that it's my fault that they're not seeing their dad. But there was one sentence that he said, and that was, "You will never have the children. You'll never have the boys."
You're not going to take them away from me. I promise you that.
I could see that his anger was escalating, but because there wasn't enough evidence of physical violence to stop him seeing the children completely, 5 hours access was granted. And when 5 hours non-supervised contact was issued, I almost fell to pieces. Given the behaviour in that courtroom, I knew that those children were in danger and I couldn't do anything about it. Nobody listened to the warning that I gave. Everybody thought he wasn't capable of murder, and I knew he was. On the 22nd of October, they had gone on an access visit to their father. The day started just like any other day. And as I dropped him off at school, I said to him, as I did every morning, "Love you." And they'd answer, "To infinity and beyond." They loved Toy Story. Those were the last words we spoke to each other in this world. Later on, I came home from work. I sat down. I just literally finished my tea, and there was a knock on the door. And I opened the door, and there was a policeman stood on the doorstep. We know each other. And when I came out, his face fell. And the first words I said was, "What has he done?" And the police officer said, "There's been an incident at the house." He said, "There's been a fire, and you need to come now with me. The boys are at the children's hospital." And that's all I knew.
At first glance, an ordinary family house, but what happened here last night destroyed lives. A father, Darren Sykes, was at home with his 2 sons when a blaze took hold of the property. Fire crews battled through the heat to find all 3 trapped.
And I remember we got to Sheffield Children's Hospital. I walked into this little room, and my head was saying, "This isn't happening." And my heart was screaming in pain. And the medic said, "Are you Jack and Paul's mum?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Come with me."
The blaze broke out at around 6:30 last night. Neighbours said at first they didn't realise anyone was in the house because Mr. Sykes's van wasn't parked outside. By the time firefighters arrived, they found the father and his 2 sons on the ground floor, and attempts were made to revive them.
I saw Paul, and I saw them doing CPR on him, and his little body was bouncing off the bed. And reality hit like a slap. One part of my brain was screaming, that's my son. My 9-year-old little boy lying there having CPR. They looked at me and they said, we're going to let him go now. And I said, no, you can't let him go. And they said, all we can do now is let him go. And they let me hold him in my arms. And I held him so tightly, his hair was wet with my tears. And I said, Paul, you can't leave. It's Mum, I'm here. And he looked at me and smiled. And then the light just went out of his eyes. And his beautiful blue eyes, they just went grey. And nothing was looking back. And the nurse came past and subtly closed his eyes. And then he just looked like he was sleeping. And to know that I would never hear his laugh, watch him run, have a future, and that I could only hold him as he died and told him that I loved him. I felt shame, pain,
and I felt as if I'd physically been torn apart.
The detective sergeant came from the family liaison unit and said that the fire had been set on purpose, it wasn't an accident. They told me that Jack had told the fireman that cradled him in his arms that his dad had done this.
Jack was found on the first floor. Conscious when he was taken to hospital, he told police, "My dad started the fire."
He'd set at least 14 separate fires. The property was barricaded, and there was no way that the boys would have got out. He'd used a mattress to barricade the living room and a kitchen chair against the kitchen door to wedge that too.
After the Sykes had divorced, Father Darren became vengeful. Sykes locked the house, doused it in petrol, and set it alight.
Then they said to me, Jack's in the other bay if you want to come and see him. And they were running around and they were all sweating. And you could see on their faces the fear. I just lost one son, and they were doing their damnedest to make sure that I didn't lose Jack too. This is 2 days after Jack was taken to Manchester to the paediatric intensive care burns unit. This is what I looked at for 5 days. And I'm sorry that I upset people when I show them these photos. But this is reality. This is real life. And this is what happened to my beautiful 12-year-old boy. He can't open his eyes, they're swollen and burnt. And he's on a ventilator because he's sedated. Most of his body was destroyed. He got these injuries from trying to rescue his brother and get out of a fire. And it kills me inside to keep showing this photograph. But people need to know the reality. This is what happens when people don't listen. I sat by this for 5 days. I couldn't do anything other than read to him and talk to him. Jack wasn't in pain there, he was sedated. But I hurt for him. And not being able to help him, I felt useless. And all I could do was pray. But it wasn't enough. The next day, he started to deteriorate. And if you watch medical programs and you see the line just go beep, that's exactly what happens. There was no heartbeat at all. The medics were devastated and they looked at me and I just waited for them to say it. And they called it. They told everybody to stop. And the room just went eerily quiet. All you could hear was the one machine with a single beat and just a line going across. I held him in my arms, but I didn't ask him to stay like I did Paul. I just said, be at peace, I love you. He heard that I loved him, and I told him to be at peace now. And I held him, and then the detective came from Penistone, and he said, now we're looking at a double murder. And nobody touched me. Nobody went near me. And I just curled up on the floor in a ball because the pain was just too much. I was really angry because I wanted him to face what he'd done. They asked me to take responsibility for his body, and I refused. My ex-husband did what he did because he couldn't accept that he wasn't loved, he couldn't accept that he wasn't liked. But the real reason why he did this was to punish me. Those boys only died because of me. They were taken away because he knew he couldn't have them. And if he couldn't have them, then nobody else could have them. I had a tattoo done and had their ashes mingled with the ink. I wanted them close to my heart. So the only place to make sure they were close to my heart was to have a tattoo done on my chest. To infinity and back. These are the last words that we spoke to each other in this world, and they were spoken in love, and I have that love now etched forever next to my heart. The promise that I made to my two boys as they lay dying in my arms was that I wouldn't let this happen to another child. These laws need changing, and they need changing now. So I've challenged the government. We're having a new domestic abuse bill, which has now taken 4 years, and we still haven't got it through Parliament. And if I can change these laws in Jack and Paul's names, then their legacy will live on long after I'm not around. That's what I'm fighting for, to make sure the right decisions are made for the child. Not for the parents, for the child. Because they can't protect themselves. Nevertheless, I should have fought the courts more, and I have to live with those regrets. The thing I regret the most is not walking away. There were signs, and I should have left rather than stay and try to make the best of it. I wish he'd taken his own life and left the boys I wish he'd taken mine and left the boys. But all I can do now is change the future. I can't change the past, but I can change the future. And that's what I'll keep trying to do.
I've always wanted to tell my side. And it feels good to be able to tell my story after holding it in for so long. The people that say that I lied, they're right. I did lie on stand for Todd. But for everyone that says that I am a liar, I just say that, you don't know me. A lot of people think Todd's innocent when he's not. I know how Todd was. And I don't really care what people say. As long as I know the truth, I could care less. Everyone's so worried about Texas executed an innocent man when they did not execute an innocent man. I know Todd is guilty. You don't know the whole story. You don't know my life with Todd, but I hope after watching this, you do. It's crazy that the first day I ever met him, there was a red flag and I dismissed it. The first time I met Todd, I was working at a Dairy Queen. I was a senior in high school.
Hey.
He goes, well, aren't you Stacy? I said, yes. He says, don't you drive that white pickup? I said, yes, I do. He says, don't you live in those apartments? I said, actually, I do. At the time, never thought about how did this man know all this stuff about me already, and I had never seen him a day in my life. But it's like I had already been being followed and watched. And he said, well, my brother wants to go out with you. And I said, well, why don't he come ask me? And he said, well, he's shy.
Yeah, sure. We can hang out.
When I met them that evening, Todd was the one that started talking to me. And actually the whole evening, he talked to me the whole evening. His brother actually never talked to me. So it was Todd that I ended up dating. He seemed like a really good person. He was so nice to me, and he showed me so much attention. Years later, I had asked his brother about, hey, Todd told me that he come in and asked me to go out with you, actually. And he had told me that, no, Stacy, that's not true. I didn't know you. After everything that's happened, I see so many red flags that I just dismissed. So many. This is a photograph of me and Todd. This actually was taken on Todd's 20th birthday. That was the day he changed. That's the day I told him I was pregnant with Amber. I was 18. I told him I was pregnant and he said, you better not be. He goes, I didn't ask for a kid. I don't want a kid and I don't want a wife. That's not the life I want. So I'm sure that's why I don't look so happy in this picture. Todd never pushed me, shoved me, slapped me, anything until after I told him I was pregnant for the first time. I was running a bath. We were talking about something.
I was thinking maybe it's time to look for work.
And I just don't think he liked my answer. And he just kind of pushed me. But when he pushed me over the bathtub. And I said, Todd, why did you push me like that? I could have a miscarriage. And he just said, well, that wouldn't be a bad thing. And I was just like, what? So it was a shock to me for him to even push me, but then to say that. It was heartbreaking. But he was my first boyfriend, my first on everything. He was my first. And I did love him. I was in love with him. And I guess I overlooked the little things that really were big things that I shouldn't have overlooked with him. I don't want to be a single mom raising a child. I want him here. I want him to love his daughter and love me too the way I love him. I wanted to do whatever I could just to keep my family together. I realized I was pregnant again. Amber was 8 months old, and I went to the doctor, they did a sonogram, and I was pregnant with twins.
Hey.
Hey.
I went home, and Todd came through the door, and I said, hey, I'm pregnant with twins.
Are you kidding me? Again? I didn't even want the first one.
And he starts arguing with me. He starts pushing me. He gets on top of me and he's hitting me. I've never had no man beat me. No one ever beat me like he was doing. Well, I reached over to grab that phone to call 911. And he took the phone out of my hand. He starts beating me with the phone. I mean, he beat me with the phone so badly, he broke the phone. And then he stops and he reaches for Amber and he says, give me that kid. I'm taking her. She's mine. I didn't know what he was going to do. I kind of throw myself up against her. I said, over my dead body. And he said, well, that can be arranged.
Careful what you wish for.
He just looked like so mad, like he could have killed me. He looked so evil. I chose not to call the cops because I was still young. And I guess I thought I don't want any more problems. I thought maybe if I did call the cops, maybe they would arrest him and then I'd have to deal with him when he got out. So I just wanted it to be over. I didn't want to deal with him. So I chose not to call the cops. I said, get out of my house. Well, it was about a month or so, 6 weeks. We talked. He apologized. He said, I don't know why I did that. I'm so sorry. I can never apologize enough to you for what I have done. And I believed him. I'm fixing to have the twins. He's acts like he's excited now about it. You know, everybody makes mistakes. So I let him back in. I didn't recognize all the evil in Todd because I love Todd. And a lot of times love is blinding. It blinds you from the truth. The twins were 2 months old. I thought Todd was having an affair because he was disappearing a lot. He was saying he was at work at times when I would find out that he wasn't. And that's what started the fight that night.
Are you calling me a liar? Is that what you're saying?
Of course not. You know that's not what I meant. He started cussing me and yelling, started pushing me around. And then Todd started hitting on me.
I don't owe you an explanation.
Stop, don't! And he held me down and Todd beat me until I seen stars. When a woman has a baby, you can start hemorrhaging. And I started bleeding real bad. Todd put me in that bathtub. I tried to tell Todd, you know, you've got to call my mom or take me to the hospital because I could die. I said, I have got to go to the hospital. No. Nope. Refused to let me go. I stayed in that tub all night. I honestly just thought I was going to die. I thought that was it. I guess I'd fallen asleep in the tub. I woke up and Todd was just sitting there. I don't know how long they had been sitting there watching me. I can still today see his face. He said, did you learn your lesson? I said, about what? And he said, about talking back to me. You don't talk back to me. I told you every time you talk back to me, this is what's going to happen to you. You've got to learn, Stacey. You've got to learn to act right. I was terrified of Todd. And I knew that if I ever was to call the cops at that time, that I would be punished by him. And he would tell me, you'll never leave me. I'll never let you leave. This is a photograph of the twins. This is actually the very first picture I ever took with the girls. I was so scared because they were so little. But I would ask Amber, which one's Cameron, which one's Carmen, and she could pick them out. She was a good big sister to them. You see how young I am in it? When the twins were born, I was 20 years old. I always think, if that girl would have been a little bit stronger, your life could have been a lot different. I wouldn't be sitting here telling my story. If she could have just been a little bit stronger. I don't know if I could forgive her, because if she would have just woke up and stepped back and said, hey, no, this isn't going to happen, our lives would have ended up different than they are today. After we got married, he said that, I think that I'm going to go ahead and let you work, and I'm going to stay home and watch the kids. And I was working, paying the bills. I noticed that I did everything on my own. I'd go to work thinking, why do I have him there? I can do this for my girls and me. I don't need him.
You're home late?
Yeah, I had a long day at work.
And so I started standing up more for myself. Even if it was to cause a fight, I'd still stand up.
Or maybe you got a boyfriend I don't know about.
Excuse me?
I remember coming home one night and he started yelling at me.
Just shut up!
And when I turned around, he just popped me in my mouth. And I looked at him and I said, Todd, you can hit me all you want. Come the first of the year, after Christmas, I am going to divorce you. I don't need you.
We're over.
I'm done with all your evilness. I'm moving on and taking my girls with me. I was expecting him to start arguing or backhand me, but he didn't. He didn't say a word. He just looked at me, never said a word. He just never said a word. It was around December the 8th or so, and I heard a knock on the door, and it was some friends of ours, and they were there to share the news of the passing of their baby. She was pregnant, and she had a baby boy that was stillborn. And I was telling Todd, I said, I don't know how they're going to do it. I said, how can you lose your child? That would kill me. I could never lose my child. I don't think I could make it, It's just the worst thing in the world.
It's just terrible.
And Todd was just like, yeah, I know. Because I know you love the girls more than anybody that walks this earth.
You really do love your girls more than anything. Even me.
I think that planted that idea in his head. Here I'm talking about divorcing him. And so I think when I told Todd how I would feel if I lost my girls, I think maybe he remembered that. I think if I would have never said that, I don't know, maybe things would have been different. Money was always tight because it was only me working and I had 4 mouths to feed. It was December and I was at the house and Todd come in one day with 2 of his friends and they were bringing this icebox in the house. And I said, Todd, we already have an icebox. He goes, well, I'm going to fix it. I said, what do you mean fix it? It doesn't work? He says, no, it doesn't work, but I'm going to fix it. Todd took the icebox and pushed it right to the back door so you couldn't get out. I told him, I said, can we at least move it over? But he refused to. So it just sat there. Looking back now to where the icebox was, if anyone was to try to get in that back door, they couldn't. If anyone was trying to get out of the house, they could not. It was big and it was bulky, and I think it was there for a reason, to block that back door. This is the last picture we ever took together. Me and Todd took the girls to a photo store to get our pictures taken for family pictures I wanted to give him for Christmas gifts. We're all smiling and he looked so mad. Like he did not want to be there with any of us. I get angry when I look at this picture. You're with the only people that truly loved you, but you're so mad and you look so evil in it. I can't explain Todd's evilness. I can't. On December 22nd at 91, I went back to pick up the family pictures with Todd. And then I went to get Amber a Christmas dress. And he said, hey, I want to go. Let's go. What are you doing? I said, I'm looking for a Christmas dress for Amber. She doesn't need a Christmas dress. Why are you looking for a dress?
This is our last Christmas together as a family. And if I want her to have a dress, she will.
I turned around, I looked at him, I said, I'm buying my daughter a Christmas dress because I can. And it's my money. And I really don't care what you have to say because once again, I am divorcing you after Christmas. So I really don't care what you think.
Don't forget I'm divorcing you.
He looked at me. It was like a moment of, I just hate for what you just said to me. I was expecting him to argue with me or to fight me or maybe backhand me, but he didn't say anything. He didn't say a word. And so he got mad and went back to the car. I think he's seen a person that was becoming something that he didn't like. A person that was standing up to him and saying, hey, I'm done. Enough's enough. I think that was the trigger. I've got to put her back in her place. I've got to take from her to make her that weak woman again because she's getting too strong. I got up on December 23rd, 1991. And I went into the twins' bedroom, fed them, gave them their bottles. And we were just playing and, it was almost Christmas time. And I kind of looked up and Todd was standing at the door and looking in on us.
Oh, Todd, you're up.
Yeah.
And I thought it was unusual for him to get up so early with us because he normally didn't do that. And I just said, what are you doing? He goes, nothing, just watching. He didn't really have a lot to say. Maybe he was having second thoughts watching us play and we were laughing and stuff, but he didn't join with us. He just watched over us that morning.
Well, I gotta go.
And I told Todd, I've got to do some errands. And then once I get home, we'll get ready for the holidays. And he didn't say anything. Looking back now, I just wonder sometimes if he was looking in on us thinking, should I do this or should I not?
The indication of heavy fire coming out of the double windows with the most fire coming out of the front window.
I had some errands to run that morning. I was standing in line and a cop came in announcing he was looking for Stacy Willingham. And I was like, well, that's me.
Christmas tree that was in the corner in the living room. There's the remains of plastic toys.
So then I start panicking and I'm asking him, well, did something happen? Is something wrong? Did something happen to the girls or one of the girls? He goes, ma'am, I don't know. All I know is to take you to the hospital.
This is the kitchen area. The refrigerator had been placed back against the back door where it was upon the arrival of the fire department.
They put me in this little room, and the doctor come in and talked to me, and he says, Amber didn't make it. And I was like, well, what do you mean Amber didn't make it? What are you talking about? Where is she at?
This is the bed where the 2-year-old was found in the middle of the bed.
I start yelling in the ER, where is my daughter? I start going to open doors.
Heavy charring underneath, indicating that fire was underneath the bed.
So I run in there to her. And so I was holding her and I asked them, where are my twins at? Where are the girls at?
The other side of the entrance was one of the cribs for one of the 1-year-olds.
Someone said that they were at a funeral home. And I was like, a funeral home? Why are they at a funeral home? And she says, ma'am, your twins didn't make it either.
This is the east side of the house. This is the room where the babies were found.
And I was just in shock. I just didn't understand. I kept just holding her and rocking her. I just begged, please wake up, Amber. I remember just begging that, just wanting her to wake up. And for it not to be real, you know. How are my kids dead? It's like, how are my girls gone? How is this happening? You're telling me that all three of my daughters are dead, but yet my husband is laying in the next room and he barely had any marks on him. So I wanted to know what was going on.
I'll give you guys a minute.
And when I walked in, he's like he couldn't look at me. He just wouldn't even look at me at first.
What happened, Todd?
He's saying that he woke up to Amber saying, Daddy, Daddy. He noticed there was smoke in the house, told her to get out of the house, went down the hall, went in the girls' room, tried to feel for him.
The room was filled with smoke.
He had found a teddy bear and thought he found one of the twins and got out and realized it wasn't one of the twins. It was a teddy bear. He said he got out of the house.
So you went back?
And I'm like, but why didn't you go back in to get the girls? And he says, well, I tried, but the fire was too much and I couldn't get back in. I was looking out the window and everybody left. There was just me and Todd in that room. And Todd asked me, he said, Stacy, what's wrong?
You okay?
And I was like, what? He said, what's wrong? Don't be sad. I said, Todd, we just lost all of our girls today, you know? He said, well, Stacy, don't worry. It'll be all right. We'll have more kids. We'll have another Amber, Carmen, and Cameron. Don't be sad.
We'll have more.
I just looked at him and I just turned around and looked up that window and thought, how did this person just say this to me? He just lost his girls too. How can you say that? It'll be all right. It was just shocking for me to hear him say that. And I just looked out the window. I never said a word back. Just looked out the window. I think I was just still in shock, but I never forgot that. Sometimes when I dream I'm in that house, the house is on fire and I'm reaching out to my girls and I sometimes have them by their hand, but they're just slipping. You know, I can't save them. This picture here is where the girls were, the twins. One was at the door going into the room and the other one was right there next to her. So if you were to go in that room and get down and just go like that to feel, you would have gotten the twins. I mean, my girls were like right there. But at that time, I wasn't really told exactly what the evidence was with Todd. I just didn't know until years later, I did get the case file. And that's why I think at first Todd's plan did work to keep me. Before the fire, I was going to divorce Todd. After the fire, I didn't even think about the divorce anymore. I was still in shock. And I was hanging on to the only thing I had left, and that was Todd. Christmas Eve, that morning, Todd got out of the hospital. His parents picked him up, and I was there, favorite cologne. And his dad says, boy, you need to stop doing that. They're probably still investigating this. He goes, I don't care. I don't care what they're doing. It's my house and I can do what I want. Todd walked down the hall. He's dousing it back and forth. He walks into the girls' room. He starts dousing it in the girls' room. But I didn't think anything about it. It's just cologne. I mean, if they're investigating it, surely they'll know the difference in cologne and something else. So it didn't raise any red flags to me. This is a picture of the diagram of our house. It's an evidence picture. this was the pattern that where Todd had, and Todd grabs this cologne and he's dousing it back and forth. And I look and I'm like, what are you doing, Todd? He said, I'm pouring this cologne out because the twins like the smell of it. And I want the house to smell like my cologne because they like that. I just said, no, they don't. The twins can't even walk. They surely don't have a face. Well, Todd started throwing a fit. No, I want to go to the house. And we were like, why? And he says, well, I want to go to the house. So we get there, standing in that house. It's a memory I can't get out of my head. I can't get that smell. I can sit here and I can smell that house, They walk in the house. He poured them down the girls' room, under the beds. And I think he set that fire and walked out that door. And then waited till the fire trucks come. Because they said Todd was just sitting in the yard. He was just sitting there till the fire trucks come. And it's the same pour pattern as he poured that cologne. It's like he was trying to get back to the house to cover up what he had done with cologne before they started the investigation. On January the 8th of 92, Todd was arrested. And we were going over to my parents' house, which was across town. The cops turn their lights on and they start yelling, saying, put your hands up. And Todd turned around and looked at me and he said, Stacy,
they're going to lie to you.
Whatever you hear after I get arrested, you don't believe it. I supposedly poured kerosene on the floor. When I seen this picture, and I thought, wait a second, I've seen this before. This picture brought me back to that day. And I looked at it and I thought, how did Todd pour that cologne exactly where they're saying the kerosene was poured? We had 3 kerosene lamps. And I believe Todd took those lamps off that shelf. I believe he poured them down the hallway. And they took him off and they just left me there. This is a letter Todd wrote me a couple days before I was to testify for him, to tell me what I needed to say on the stand. I've never shared this letter or any letter that Todd ever wrote me. It says, Stacy, just be calm and do the best you can. And just remember, all you have to do is let them know the best memories of your 3 daughters. And I'm like, what? How can you be doing that? Todd didn't do this. They just said, well, yes, he did. I started crying. You lose all 3 of your daughters at one time in a fire. And now 2 weeks later, you're supposed to believe that the man you had those babies with killed them. How are you to believe that? I can't even believe my daughters are dead, but now you want me to believe that my husband did it? How do you even process that? Todd wouldn't have hurt the girls. He wouldn't do this. That's just all I kept saying. Because those are the ones that will sound best. They are trying to make me look bad. You are to make me look good. And don't be afraid to cry. So he was telling me what to say to make him look good. I did testify on Todd's behalf. I did lie on stand for Todd. I did it for Todd because that's what he asked. When I was asked if me and Todd had a fight, after Todd was found guilty and was sentenced to death row, I still believed in Todd. I still thought Todd was innocent. I just couldn't believe that a parent would do that. So I believed him. And they brought Todd out.
Wait a minute.
And he's telling me, Stacy, don't you ever forget me. And he keeps yelling it, don't you ever forget me.
Remember me, Stacy, all right?
Todd.
I didn't do it. Don't let them take me away from you.
You only listen to me and you believe what I tell you. Only believe what I say, because they're going to try to make you believe a lot of stuff that's not true. I'm like, what are you talking about, Todd?
Todd Willingham, exit the car with your hands up.
And he said, just remember, only listen to me. They come over, they arrest Todd. Well, I says, why are you arresting my husband?
What are you doing to him?
And they said, Stacy, we're arresting him for murder. I went to Todd's execution. He said he was innocent. And then he turned to me and started just cussing me, saying, I hope you rot in hell, bitch. I remember that. And I remember him taking his arm and pushing it to give me a middle finger. But not one time did Todd ever say, I love my daughters. I never killed my daughters. He never mentions his daughters' names. I think that's what an innocent person would be yelling out. The next thing I know, they were touching me and telling me it was time to go. I thought that was it. Finally, it's over. Before the fire, I said that we didn't fight, and we did. I said that Todd didn't beat me. He told me to not tell him that he had beat me with a telephone because that would make him look bad. And I told him he'd have never hurt the kids. And I've said that several times because I still just couldn't believe a parent would kill their children. I didn't want to lie, but I just felt like I didn't have a choice with him. Even though Todd was locked up, I was just scared of Todd.
With a space heater, it was connected to a metal pipe to the gas outlet. Again, there is no fire damage from the heater, eliminating it as a possible cause of the fire.
The gas was turned off. There was no gas going to that house. And also the electrical was checked, and there was no electrical fire.
An electrical outlet on the east wall, wiring still intact. No.
I was told about the New Yorker article from my lawyer. When the New Yorker was published, they put in the article that it was bad science. And there's even another report from a fire expert saying that some of the stuff that they did use to prove his guilt was outdated. And the fire was either caused by a gas space heater or an electrical fire. But the gas was checked.
The west wall.
Finally, I could move on. But how wrong I was. I was so wrong. After he was executed, I started seeing things in the paper about the Innocence Project. They think Todd's innocent. Texas executed an innocent man. And he wanted me to write a letter and tell them that I would rather Todd spend life in prison than to be executed.
I don't want to die.
He said, Stacy, nobody wants to die. I said, Todd, you're right. No one wants to die. And I can guarantee you on December 23rd, my 3 daughters did not want to die in that house. Todd didn't just take my world. Todd took my future. This man just didn't take 3 girls from me. He took everything from me. He took my girls.
Evidence of shorts.
There was no gas on in our house, and the electrical wire was checked. So it is arson. But still, they were yelling it from the rooftops. Cameron Todd Willingham was innocent. I felt like they were using him as a poster child to stop the death penalty in Texas. But find someone else, because this man was not innocent. He was guilty. When Todd got an execution date, I went up to the courthouse. They went to walk him out. And he looked at me and he said, Stacy,
I would not hesitate in pulling a trigger against her. This is me and my middle sister, Cammie. There was exactly 3 years between us. The bond was developed very early on because I adored her. She loved to get in the bed with me and us have a playtime. I would make her giggle. I would tickle her belly. It was a wonderful time in my life. And I hope in hers, maybe it's not remembered, but it's still in there somewhere. We grew up in Marion, North Carolina. I'm the oldest of 3 daughters. As Cammie got older, she would come to my bed when she had a nightmare and I'd snuggle her up.
What's wrong? You have a bad dream?
I can remember lots of times reading to her.
Once upon a time.
And I could remember her looking up at me as I read to her. Certain things kind of stick in your head. Like that does, that sticks. That little smile. Because it was just so sweet. I wish you could see it in my head. She had the cutest little smile.
right. He said, Stacy, I believed you. In my mind, I could not let you walk out of that house. You were not leaving me, and I didn't care what it took. You were not going to leave me. You were not divorcing me. And the only thing I could think of is if you didn't have Amber Corman or Cameron, you couldn't leave me and go have kids with someone else. You could only have an Amber Corman and Cameron with me. And when he took my grandkids away, he took my life and what future I might have had away from me. And I just got up and I walked out. That was the last time I ever spoke to him. I've read where people say, you defended Todd all these years. I defended Todd for 10 months, not 13 years. And then I had read where one of the reporters had come to my house and interviewed me, and I told him that Todd didn't confess to me and all that, and that wasn't true. I never said that. The people that say that I lied, they're right. I did lie on stand for Todd, but I didn't lie about what Todd told me. Todd was not innocent. This is a letter that Todd said that. It's like that night at the hospital come into my mind. I'm like, he told me that the day of the fire. He told me, don't worry, because we'll have another Amber Corman and Cameron. He said, I took what I knew would hurt you to make you stay with me. I'm so stupid for what I've done. After Todd had told me what he had done or anything else, I believe what Todd told me. I hope telling the truth will make people realize, that Todd did murder my daughters. And it's not about the death penalty. It's not about that. Todd is guilty, and he's guilty of killing 3 little girls that everybody seems to have forgotten. No one will ever heal from losing a child. Never, ever. But in my case, you have to move on. You have to live. Either you're going to lay down and die, or you're going to get up and live. It's 2 choices you have. I chose to get up, and I chose to live. But I know one day I will be back with my daughters. And that's what keeps me going. God sent me the day after our visitation. I've never shared this letter until today. It says, Dear Stacy, How are you? I hope this finds you well and in good spirits. I am grateful for you coming to see me and giving me a chance to say the things I could. He says that the visit was cleansing to his conscience. Saying those things in person meant so much more. So not only did he tell me face to face, he also wrote me. I don't really care what any report says. I don't believe a New Yorker.
Probably around the age of 6, I started seeing a behavioral change in my sister. She enjoyed seeing me upset. Growing up, it was very important to me to have things precise and orderly. I don't want to say I had OCD, but I disliked order. I remember one time in particular where she'll serve her sentence and get free and be walking the streets of society. I will be watching and being very careful when and if that doesn't happen, because I feel like that there is potential for Cammie coming after me. If my sister were to come after me in revenge, I got very upset with Cammie for holding her elbows out after she washed her face, because water would roll down her arms and get all over the sink and floor. And I snapped at her.
Cammie! Why are you always making a mess?
If you made her upset, then she got revenge. She went into our bedroom, took all of our drawers, and going, just look at you. Look at you. Look how fat you are. It was awful, and she just kept on and on with it. And I think that did probably reduce me to tears.
You're looking a little chunky.
How could she say that to me? I would never say that to her. It was joyous cruelty. She knew what she was doing. She knew she was hurting me. And she was being entertained by that.
God, you're disgusting.
She enjoyed doing that on a regular basis. She had a distorted viewpoint of me her whole life. And she enjoyed seeing me cry. Mostly it was a rivalry with me, and I don't think that there was hardly...
You need to come see me. You need to come see me. There are things that need to be said. You best come see me. And then he walked out. And 2 weeks before he was executed, on January the 31st, I went and visited with him on death row. When I went in there, I didn't know if Todd had done it or not. That's when I found out the truth. He said, Stacy, honestly, I didn't even go in there. I didn't even try to save the girls. I just walked out of the house. He said, do you remember the last time we fought before the fire? Do you remember what you said to me? I said, yes. I turned to you and I told you I didn't care what you had to say, because after Christmas, I was divorcing you. He goes, that much between Cammie and Sharon as there was between Cammie and myself. Once I shared a secret with my sister Cammie, and she ended up using it against me. I could not
go on a date until I was 16, which I thought was a little bit strict. So one time I kissed a guy and I felt real badly about it. I shared it with Cammie.
I leaned in and I kissed him. You kissed him?
And she was very, very sweet and very, very loving at first.
Did you like it?
Cammie took pleasure in eliciting responses. She loved to see me cry. In early teens, I became overweight and I was very self-conscious. And if she caught me standing in front of a mirror, she would attack that Achilles heel that caused me great distress. I was one day looking in the mirror and she came in the room and started laughing and dumped them in the middle of the room. I walk into the room and I see the bedspreads and top sheets and pillows thrown into the middle of the floor.
Cammie, why would you do this?
I was so angry in seeing that. I would say, Cammie, clean up that room. Well, she wouldn't. And she would laugh. She was actually being very entertained at me being angry.
Well, don't just stand there. Help me.
I think that the laughing when seeing me so upset was even worse than the actual deed of the destruction. Her intentions were to deliberately antagonize me. Incident changed the landscape of our relationship for the rest of our life. Because I never could trust her fully again. This is a picture of my baby sister Sharon and Cammie and myself. I was 14 and Cammie was 11. I desperately wanted to have a close relationship with Cammie, but our relationship was very strained. Very seldom do I remember her.
You promised.
She would immediately start calling for Mom.
Fine. Have your way. Mom! Wait!
I would say, wait, come back. Here, you can have this.
Here.
Because I didn't want that to happen.
Thank you.
Cammie blackmailed me for several months. A normal person would not do that to another person. But she doesn't care about getting along. She doesn't care about friendships. It became a miserable way to live. And finally, one day, I'd had enough. I went and I said, Mom, can I talk to you about something? And I told my mom myself.
I have something to tell you.
Once I told my mother the secret, I felt so free. The load was gone. That one being sweet and nice. I didn't recognize that the abnormal behavior would last for a lifetime. I didn't know that. As time went on, we noticed that Cammie became more and more obsessed with revenge. And as she grew older, around 8 years,
Of course.
she responded with, "Oh, Cindy, don't worry about that. That's not that bad." She was comforting.
But seriously, you can't tell anyone. I promise. I won't tell anyone. Okay.
I realize now she would think through, how can I hurt Cindy the worst? All of a sudden she thinks, oh, I have leverage. I can use this. And of course, that's exactly what ended up. 2 days after the incident, she started blackmailing me with my mom. Mom would divide cookies or a candy bar, and I would not give her my share.
Give me them. I'm not giving you my cookies.
And she threatened to blackmail me by using the secret that I had told her.
No.
I'm gonna shoot you. Of course we're thinking that she's teasing, but we're not taking any chances, right?
I mean it.
I can remember trying to get Sharon out of the house.
Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. And she then locks us out. And we stay out until Mom and Dad get home. They didn't know what to do. My mother took Cammie to our pediatrician, and she asked him what she could do to get Cammie help. And he reprimanded her verbally and just said, she's a middle child. She needs extra attention. She needs extra love. Just love her and give her special attention. Absolutely the wrong advice from that pediatrician. I don't think they knew what to do. That's what you get. That serves you right. Did not say, oh, I'm sorry. Just walked on by and went on her merry way. There was no remorse, but I think satisfaction. I really think satisfaction. When I told Mom and Dad that, Sister and I leave the premises to get out of the room.
Get out!
And we refused to do that.
No, if you don't like it, why don't you leave?
She went into my parents' bedroom and she got a rifle, a hunting rifle. She coming through their door, pointing at us and demanding that we get out of the house.
I said get out!
Just calm, cool, and collected. Just y'all get out. I'm with her when she was little. You could not reason with Cammie. It wasn't that I hated her. You just don't want to have a relationship anymore. And there was times when we were teenagers that were good. Cammie was 21 or 22 when she got married. I was 24 when I got married. We were close then. Well, close enough to the only time that we really saw one another was like Mother's Day, Easter, was just your normal, see you later, hello, how are you, She got 25 licks with a belt. But sometimes after a spanking, Cammie would laugh just to show that it didn't and wouldn't affect her. She would act like nothing happened. No one or not anything could affect that resolve that she would be in control. It was frightening living with Cammie because I never knew what would set her off. One time we got into a huge fight as sisters, and she demanded that my sister had a thing. Well, we were on our way to my niece's 3rd birthday, which is Sharon's daughter. And I had Cammie with me and 2 of my sons. And Cammie was saying cruel things about my nephew.
I can't stand it. Cammie, please, not in front of the boys. It's their cousin.
It was aggravating me, and I'd ask her to stop several times.
He's so spoiled. Of course he'd turn out like this.
After she kept on, I said, well, if you don't stop now, I'm pulling off, and you will get out of my vehicle.
Shut up. You don't tell me what to do.
She turned around in the passenger seat and started kicking with every ounce of her strength in her leg.
Stop it! Are you trying to kill us?
She'd kick me in my face and on my arm, my wrist. She started using weapons. One day we were on the school bus coming home, and I was teasing her about a particular boy that liked her. We got home, and then it started.
Come on, Cammie. I was only joking.
She just decided that she was going to go get a kitchen paring knife. I heard the drawer open, and I was standing in the living room.
What are you doing?
And totally unexpecting that she would throw a knife at me. She just took it by the knife part and threw it. And it lodged in my wrist.
What is wrong with you?
It was like very, very bloody. I was trying to stop the bleeding.
You could have killed me.
She walked by like...
That's a terrible thing to say.
I'm surprised that it slipped out. I don't think that she intended necessarily to reveal that. Maybe she did. Maybe she liked the shock factor. It was a very Cammie-like thing to do. When Cammie and Terry divorced, there was a terrible custody battle for the children. Terry and I started talking about it. Terry thought that Cammie had broken into his apartment because little things at the Department of Revenue in Raleigh, where she worked as well. Their relationship mostly was volatile. But there were times like this where you could sense some fun loving. It's wonderful to see them like that. She looks genuinely happy. I know how much he loved her. I'm not sure the other way around. When Cammie married Terry, she knew he had a kidney condition. And she commented once that the only reason that she married him was because he had a kidney disorder and that she didn't feel like that he would live that long.
I really like him. Yeah. We'll see how long it lasts.
And that he would have good insurance. I cannot remember exactly my response, but I do know that I would reprimand her.
If I'm lucky, he won't last long.
It's not right. It's insanity. That's evil. Full guardian. She blamed me and said that I had paid off the judges and paid for his lawyers. Of course, that wasn't the truth at all, but that was what she believed. Cammie had a seething rage that was directed toward me because she thought that I was directly responsible for her losing her children. She never openly threatened, but there were several times that Cammie had called me here we are on an interstate. Here we have our children with us. She did not care. Cammie was acting with reckless abandon because the need to control and get revenge was greater than survival at that point in time.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Wait.
I pulled off and I made her get out of my car. I felt badly by leaving my sister on the side of the interstate, but that was overridden by the thought of keeping the occupants of that vehicle safe. I did the right thing. She could have killed us. All right, this is my sister, my dear brother-in-law, Terry, and they are in France, maybe on their honeymoon. After the divorce from her first husband, Cammie met Terry would be altered. He noticed that his underclothes drawer had been tampered with, and his medicine cabinet had been tampered with. He needed medication daily. Was she actually trying to kill him then? I don't know. I believe that Cammie was always trying to send messages to everyone in her life. We're seeing a progression of that sinister behavior, that darkness. After Cammie lost custody, her behavior became even more erratic. He'd leave to take the children to school in the morning and she'd follow him. And she had a wig on. That's when he first realized that she was stalking him, watching, always watching. When Cammie lost the children and Terry became there with the children, telling them that everything was going to be okay, that Daddy was going to be fine. The children were 8 years old and 6 years old. I felt pity for the children. It's almost like in your own ears you can hear the shot ringing out. I can almost see them as they saw their father fall. I don't think that Cammie meant to kill him. She was planning on scaring him into submission.
No, no.
This is a picture of my precious, precious brother-in-law and his children. Just a beautiful family, totally destroyed by the decision. Reference to things she wouldn't have known about unless she had been stalking me.
You're not scaring me. Stop calling here.
And sometimes at night, I would get this eerie feeling or sensation that someone was watching me. I immediately shut all blinds and locked all doors. It's like that almost panic. Do it now. I felt like she could come into my home and hurt me. While I was sleeping, while I was watching TV, I felt like my life was in jeopardy. I feel like court issues and losing her children really put Kimmy over an edge. One day I got a call from the detective in the city that she lived in, stating that a report was filed against me because I was poisoning her food. At that point in time, I lost all manner of control, and I literally attacked her. I had just had it with her shenanigans toward me for years. I kept shaking her and saying, you need to take medication. And then my husband, David, came and he said, Kimmy, you need to leave.
You gotta go. You gotta go now.
She would listen to him more so than she would me, so she left. But I wouldn't have put it past her to come back for revenge. She thought that I was out to destroy her. I have no clue why. Our last Christmas together, she wasn't invited because she had a restraining order. And she wasn't supposed to be near the kids.
Merry Christmas.
And she came.
What are you doing here?
No, you're not supposed to be here.
I was watching her.
Wait, she did it again.
I would get a call once a month at least with them saying that she was reporting a crime, that I had been in her house and had poisoned her food. And the next time it would be the water.
You know this is ridiculous, right?
She really believed that I hated her that much. As a matter of fact, Kimmy could come after us, either one of us. And he said, yeah, sis, I know that. I said, well, what are you doing about it? Are you doing anything? He goes, well, I'm working on some things. That conversation was 1 month before it actually happened. On March 24th, 2006, I was at home and I got a call.
Hello?
It was the detective. And he said, I need to tell you, your sister has shot your brother-in-law. Her hands in her coat pocket. I was afraid of a gun. I didn't trust her. The children went to the basement with Terry. I took her aside and I told her that she wasn't supposed to be there. And I told her to leave, and she got a little smirky look on her face. I was obsessed with watching her hands in her pockets.
It's Christmas.
I do think that she was deeply, deeply hurt. Having Christmas, which was the grandest of all holidays in my family, and for her not to be able to be invited. I feel like she was deeply wounded and hurt. And I'm sorry. I was starting to be fearful for Terry and myself. His life could be in trouble. One day, I had ice cream with Terry, and I said, can I talk to you about something? And he said, sure, sis, what's on your mind? I'll never forget that.
I feel like she's up to something.
I said, Terry, You know, both of us are in danger of being killed. Once she called me, she was crying almost uncontrollably. And she said, what have I ever done to make you hate me like you do? That was tough. That was so tough to hear. Anyway, she believed it and still does. I was home with my family one day for my birthday. Cammie comes in my house and brings me a birthday cake. And I said, what in the world is that?
Cammie?
And she's got this solemn look on her face, and she said, it's a birthday cake.
I baked you a cake.
I said, do you literally think that I would eat that after all you've accused me of?
Why not?
I thought that there was a possibility Cammie poisoned the cake that she brought me. I told her to take the cake back.
Don't you think things are going too far?
And I said, why can we not be friends? Why does it have to be this way? And she said, I did not take your children away from you.
You helped them. Had nothing to do with it.
Arrested. She was taken immediately to Wake County Jail. And even though I really was still angry with her, I visited her in jail. And I walk in, of course, she's behind the glass. And she has the most horrible look on her face. Between anger and devastation. It's almost a spiritual darkness. And I say, Cammie, what in the world is the matter?
Why did you do this?
And once again, I heard the words, I did not have your children taken away from you.
But you helped them take mine.
So at that point, I told her that the next time that I saw her, hopefully would be in the next life. And she immediately laughed. It was of one person. I was much closer to Terry than ever I was to Cammie. When Cammie shot Terry and he died, I was devastated with the news that he was gone. Every time somebody that we really love leaves the earth, a piece of us goes with them. I'm not doing real well. Terry survived the initial shooting. He was the one that called 911, and immediately the police were there, and she was arrested and said, if you're talking about heaven, you're not gonna be there.
I can't do this anymore.
I told her that I would not be visiting her again, ever, as long as I lived. I hung up the phone and I just walked out. That was in 2008. I never went back to see her. Cammie was charged with second-degree murder. I can remember one attorney that met with my family, and he said, she will be doing very well if she escapes the electric chair. I didn't feel like that was enough. I mean, we're talking about murder here. I was hoping for life. I think that it would have been a blessing if it had been the death penalty. And I say that with full love in my heart for her best interest. Because I'm not sure what kind of life that she has ahead of her. She'll serve her sentence and get free and be walking the streets of society. And shortly. I feel like that there is potential for Cammie coming after me. That I'm not scared for Cammie to be released from prison because I'm prepared. As soon as she's released, I will get a restraining order. But I also got a concealed carry, and I will carry if that day happens, all the time. I think this is when she was in jail. It's pretty devastating. I wish I had the ability to reconstruct her life and make different decisions for her that would turn out to be happy. I want her to be happy. Yes, I do love her very much. Even with all the pain that she's brought myself and other people, I still love her very, very much. It's an unconditional love.
She shot him?
I went totally out of kilter with that call and just started screaming.
No.
I just kept saying, oh no, oh no, oh no. I said, can you tell me what happened? Terry and Cammie met in the park that day. She convinced Terry, even though it was disallowed, to meet her for pizza in order to see the children. They met, and she said, can I talk to you for a minute? And he said, yes, and Cammie shot Terry in the stomach.
Were the kids were there?
I am believing he thought she would never do this in front of her children.
Oh, no.
She went back to be. I wish you could have believed I never meant any harm for you. Someday you'll know truth. Someday you'll know truth. She just looks so sad. I'm sorry for the pain that she's brought to people's lives. That this picture makes me want to hold her. I wish I could make things okay for her. I wish I could make her mind well and reverse.